YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day. We got some snatches, we got some bench press today, we got some spinal moves. Should be a pretty smooth and quick one today. Shouldn't be too crazy. Had a Pretty Lights concert this past weekend. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was a crazy experience. Dude is just, the band is just a wizard of like combining the EDM with like live music. It was a pretty sweet experience that I have not had before. And it was like 4 hours of grooving, man. 4 hours of grooving, 4 hours of church. It's pretty sweet. We got to think about some spicy exercise variations during those 4 hours. So pretty excited to unleash the Pretty Light minds onto the insiders this week on their programs. But today we're going to be covering how often should you switch programs, and when your priorities are on something else, how do you work out without begrudging the workout in and of itself? The two questions I got on Instagram. So we'll cover those two things. We'll hit some snatches, we'll hit some bench. Keep it simple. Let's get after it. Let's go. All right, so we got the strappy complex from K-Dot here. So it's kind of 5 power shrugs here and then jumping underneath the bar. Not very fluid with it yet, but we're gonna get there. Let's get it. Oof. Let's go. Every time I try one of these K-Dot complexes, I try them because he makes them look so fluid and so fun and so athletic. And then I do them and I feel like such an ath doing them, which just means I probably need to do this stuff a lot more, especially the rhythm. Like the way he connects to the bar on a lot of these rhythm pulses that he does. It's crazy. I just do not feel that connection yet, but we're gonna get there. That last set actually felt pretty clean. It felt the cleanest of all of them, but the way he connects to it just looks like he's one with the bar, and I like that approach. So we're gonna try and feel one with the bar here. Let's get it. Ooh. Whoa, that one felt a little stiffer on the shoulders. All right, one last set of these, and then we'll get to regular snatches. Just kind of want to get back into doing just a little bit of regular snatch. I've been muscle snatching a ton. I think it'll benefit, but when I muscle snatch, I feel like I lose that pull off the ground. It just feels goofy from going from that muscle snatch to the regular snatch. I honestly prefer my muscle snatch to my regular snatch right now, but I figured get back to doing some regular snatches today. Hit this as a warm up. This is feeling nice. It's not feeling as fluid as I would hope. I just watched the video. I kind of look like an aff doing these, but one day we're gonna be good at snatching. One day it will happen. Just the reps game. So let's get after this last set here, then we'll start snatching. Ooh. Oh, that one felt kind of smooth. All right, it was a good little core workout, trap workout. Feeling pumped. I honestly think it'd be a kind of a cooler accessory. I'm not saying K-Dot told me to do this to warm up with, but it'd be a cool accessory to snatch and then push those for like 3 sets of 8. Feel a nice little trap core work done there. But let's get to some regular snatches. Let's get after this. Tracks tournament this past weekend, hit 110 again, which was pretty sweet. And then I shattered that bat again, which is tough. I shattered the previous week's bat that I hit 111 with. Got a new bat to hit 110 with, a gamer. Broke that one in like 5 swings. It was a pretty wild game. I averaged 107 exit velo in a game. I went 107, 108, 109, 110, 110. Pretty crazy game. That one we were on one. And then after that 110, I hit a barrel and I read 89. And I was like, ooh, something might be jacked up here. Swung it again, hit 90, and then looked, and there was a huge crack in the bat. So hitting 110 is gonna get expensive in softball because the higher exit velos you hit, the more you break the bats, which is a tough look. So we're gonna have to find another gamer to swing, be able to push those exit velos. But the swing, the hips, the body is feeling absolute cracked right now. And that's our #1 KPI right now. So as long as we're squeezing the juice, we're continuing to get results there. The swing is feeling good. We continue to move some numbers up in here. Everything's gonna work itself out. And the body's feeling really good right now, which I'm pretty excited about. So hopefully we can turn that into a decent snatch day today. Honestly, the back's feeling a little locked up. We had a Friday and Saturday tournament. I didn't really do much yesterday, but we did Friday, Saturday tournament, and then concert Saturday night. Yesterday was a little bit of a chill day. Getting back after it today. Juice doesn't necessarily feel like it's on point right now, but hopefully technique's a little dialed in today and we can get after some snatches, but let's get after it. Here, let's go. Oh, feels sloppy already. Oof. Getting used to that catch is gonna be a little goofy. We got this. Ooh. That one felt better. I just broke my necklace. That's cool. Good start. Let's keep ripping. All right, another triple here. Let's make it a little bit prettier. Really want to get underneath this bar, sink into that bottom squat, catch it, that catching position. I feel much more connected to the bar when I'm doing that muscle snatch, but I'm not able to actually like sink underneath it completely without like falling over a little goofy. Whereas when I actually snatch, I can jump underneath the bar, get there. It feels like I'm losing a little bit of that connection. So I want that connection here. pulling that into the hips, getting it up. Let's go. Oh, that one felt nice. A little bit more explosive. I feel like I'm matching my energy with the weight that's on the bar, and I shouldn't do that. Yeah, that was better. Not as clean, but faster. Really gonna go on this one. Yeah, there we go. That was smooth. I think that is my all-time favorite thing about snatches, is the feel the snatch gives. Again, it's a very feedback-based lift. You can't just meet head and power your way through it. I think a lot of times the big three lifts for me turn into almost like more of a dissociation from the body, dissociation from the pain, dissociation from the push, dissociation from the feel so they can get it done. And I think a lot of athleticism, more of a weird innate feeling of connection with something. And I think the Olympic lifts, again, this is not sport specific training. I'm not saying do Olympic lifts because of this. I'm just saying why I like the Olympic lifts, is it gives a very similar innate feeling and a little bit of a technical process to be able to produce and use the force that you create and put it into something in the same way that you would with a bat or a baseball, right? And working with Dan in the throwing, we're doing a little bit of throwing, haven't recorded any of it because of my ass, but we did PR last week, which was good. I'm not saying my PR until it's not absolute trash. But you watch Dan throw a baseball and it's like everything's connected and then the last second, boom, like it's like a boom, it snaps off his hand. It's like an explosion in the same way that a good snatch looks like when somebody's snatching. It's everything's connected, it looks super lightweight, and then there's 1 millisecond of power. And the same thing with the swing, where you're nice and relaxed, everything's loaded, and there's 1 millisecond of transferring everything into that one ball, or a golf swing, everything into the club, right? And I think Olympic lifting can give you a little bit of that feel of transferring everything into something with a timing component. I think it's one of the few things that's kind of like sprinting and jumping that does that, where it gives you a feeling of output without that dissociative feeling that I think a lot of times the bigger lifts can give you. It's just something that I need to work more on. I think there's a lot of athletes that need to work on more of that dissociative feeling and not worrying so much about exactly where their foot is, right? So I think it just depends on per athlete, but I think the Olympic lifts can give a nice little touch of that in your programs, and it's something that I like. So let's keep ripping. Oof. Oof. Oh, that one felt better. Nice. Let's go. All right, last triple here. Then we'll get to some singies to save that elbow and get after it. Save the elbow. Save the elbow from volume. We're still going to send the weight. Let's get it. Ooh. Ah, feel a little sticky. Oh, ew. Tried too much on that one. There we go. Oh. Just a little more patient. One more, come on. Ooh. Oh, God. Let's get to some singies. Shoulders are feeling tight, man. Let's go. Let's hit this for a single. This is feeling good. We'll add a little weight, keep going. If not, we'll bump back and we'll go back to, we'll hit some bench. Feeling a little clocky on these cleans, on these snatches here, but hopefully we turn it into something. Let's go. Ooh. Caught it on the head. Oh, we'll count it. Gotta get that shit higher, man. I'm catching it like way the fuck out here, having it pull back. I still don't know if it's a mobility issue or a technique issue. I really gotta look into that. But that felt decent on the pull. Let's see how we can rip going forward. Let's go. All right, we're gonna get this for one more where we don't catch it on our forehead. We're gonna try and punch that finish through and rip. Let's go. Bah! Jeez, dude. Getting lightheaded as shit on those. Oh my goodness. What in the world? Let's try adding 2.5. See how that goes. If we get body, we'll go to bench. Holy crap, passing out there. All right, so I was asked in the Q&A, what's the optimal time to switch programs? How often should you change programs? How often should you change your workouts up? And honestly, I believe you should stick with what's working until it's not working. And that can be physically, that can be psychologically, that can be spiritually, right? I think a lot of times we kind of trap ourselves in it needs to be 12 weeks to this or 24 weeks to that. And you kind of have two sides to this coin. You have the program hopper that doesn't stay on anything long enough to actually get any progress done. And that's nothing to do with the workouts in and of itself. It's that they're not giving intent to the singular day workout. They lose belief in the workout in and of itself or lose belief in themselves too quickly. So they program hop to the next thing, program hop to the next thing, and they're never actually getting any real stimulus done. And then you have the person that feels like they're so trapped in this like logistical box that there's some magic thing that happens after 12 weeks of doing a singular program, And at that 12-week mark, massive gains are gonna happen, right? When the truth and the magic is kind of in that middle ground, right? You shouldn't be trapping yourself in a program. You shouldn't be trapping yourselves in workouts that make you want to die showing up every single day, but you shouldn't be jumping to a new program with a new philosophy every single week, right? So I really believe that the philosophy is what matters, because the philosophy will keep you consistent with the stimulus that you need to get done, right? Every single day on our programs, there's going to be a slight tweak in the actual program in and of itself, but the philosophy of the program stay the same for 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Like we have a goal within the overarching process of that philosophy, whether it's to get faster, bigger, stronger. We'll have certain emphases on it, but we're touching everything during those 12 weeks with slight variations of how do we get that stimulus done, right? For me, how do I get my upper body power stimulus done? I'll use a snatch. For my athletes, I'll use a bunch of super cat throws or plyometric push-ups, right? And I think as long as you're not getting completely stuck into the weeds, you can change your tools up as long as you're working on the same house, right? I think a lot of people, they keep their tools pretty much the same. They're kind of doing the same programs per se, just from different coaches, but they're working on a different house, right? Like they'll build a kitchen in one house and then they'll leave that house because the house isn't complete. Then they'll go build the bathroom in a different house, right? I think you should stay with the same house and use whatever tool that you can to help build that house, right? So we're sticking with the same house. We're using a different tool every single day, different stimulus every single day to get the overarching stimulus of completing the house done, to creating a better athlete, whatever that means for you, right? So how often should you switch up your workout? How long should you stick with a workout? Until it stops working for you mentally, physically, spiritually, till you lose interest in it, till you stop giving it intent. And if you can't find a program, let's say you try 12 programs and you can't find one where you can give intent to, you're not finding results with, then the issue probably is yourself, right? Then the issue is probably on you. You're probably one of those program hoppers, and you need to figure out what fucking house you want to build first before you focus on all the tools and blame all the tools, right? You can have the best hammer in the world, but if you don't know how to build a house, if you don't know how to swing it, it's not going to do you any good. And I think that's a lot of athletes, and I think it's the danger of all the information we have is we are given all these tools, we're showing how to use all these tools, but we have no idea how to actually do something holistically with those tools, how to build a program out with those tools, how to build a house out with those tools. So I think that's the bigger issue there. I don't think it matters per se how often you switch the workouts up, as long as you're on the same kind of philosophy and working towards the same goal, which I think we should all be working towards, which is to level our bodies up to meet the demands or exceed the demands of our sport and life, right? So that's my answer there. Let's hopefully rip this. Let's go. That was straight on my head. We're gonna get to benching. It is sloppy today. That felt actually decent on the pull. I got out of my head a little bit there, but that catch is just shit. But feeling pretty good about those. The fact that I was able to pull a little under 20 under my max on a day where the stimulants and intent aren't really there. That's pretty solid. Let's get the bench press, let's keep ripping. And we're gonna build up to a heavy set of 1 here, then hit a drop set of 20. In between these, we got some wide stance rotational PVC pipes, and then some plyometric push-ups on the sand dune. I actually haven't been a huge fan of those sand dune plyometrics. Feels a little too muscle-based. It was a little experiment, tried them out today. I think they're better with weights, I think, so it takes away that landing, but otherwise I think you want that hard surface to kind of push off of, get that real plyometric effect, but they're spicy enough to keep in. So we'll record those after a couple sets of these, rip a heavy set of here, record those, hit our drop set of 20, get out of here, let's go. Woo! All right, another little warm-up set here, then we'll hit a couple singies, let's go. Let's go. All right, clean singy until it gets messy. Let's go. I know bench gets kind of made fun of as like a non-functional lift, but honestly, bench is one of the best signs of my like personal strength and readiness levels. I think a lot of times the squat is a good sign, but if my back's feeling like shit, I kind of just bail on those and don't push them necessarily as hard as I'd like. The snatch and clean are really, really nice. But again, if the technique or the back's kind of feeling tweaked, then it's not going to be as great as I can actually express. But the bench, based off how the bench is feeling, there's really no kind of excuse other than maybe the elbow, but even then I can kind of usually just push through there. So when the bench is feeling good, that's telling me a lot of my strength numbers are actually up. And every time my bench is doing good, my exit velo on softball is amazing. And that has nothing to do with the bench per se. It's not to say bench 400 pounds and then you're gonna swing really, really hard. It's just a good readiness test for me and a good sign of whether the program's working or not, just because it's such a base level mark. There's nothing I really have to work around there. So it's cool to see that the bench is exploding and the bench is kind of correlating really well to my performance levels and how I'm feeling in the day to day. Again, we'll be off on the snatches, like techniques just feeling a little bit off there on the snatch, but I mean, still pulling pretty close to our max on a day where we felt like we had no juice. benches. Squats felt amazing last week. Cleans are feeling really, really good. Most importantly, like I just feel strong when I'm jumping. I feel strong when I'm swinging. Everything's feeling a little bit and a lot more put together than it was probably 6 months ago. So that's a cool telltale sign that the program's working. We're crushing. The bench is a functional lift. Let's go. Honestly, the only bad thing about a bench is trying to find a good angle for the bench without your little belly showing when you're pulling off. We're actually feeling pretty peeled right now, but there's no attractive angle for when your belly button's sticking out on the bench press. So we gotta tuck that shirt in. Keep fucking ripping weights. Let's go. Boo! Let's go. Money. Angus had a really good post today. He posted a picture of him with his parents, and he's like, when you blame your lack of performance on your genetics, you're insulting your entire family and your whole bloodline. And I think that's such a fucking awesome way to put it. I had an amazing conversation. Funny, Angus and Atlas, they agree on this point. I know they don't like each other, but they agree on this point. And Angus put it in one of the best ways, where it's like, we don't know our fucking genetic ceiling. We have nothing to test our actual genetic ceiling. The only thing you know genetically is your actual body size, height, length. That's the only thing you're testing genetic-wise. You can't test anything else. The rest is just in your fucking head, saying you have those excuses. And I'm saying this is somebody that's pretty blessed genetically. I get that. I'm 6'2" with broad shoulders, built to lift weights, right? Like, I have not got the worst draw of the genetic lottery, and it's easy for me to say these things. But I've also blamed on genetics for the longest time. Blaming not being the quick person, blaming being able to pick up skills as fast as I see these amazing athletes, not being as mobile as these amazing athletes. And again, I'm not throwing out the science of genetics. I'm not saying none of that matters. I'm not saying hard work is ever gonna trump genetics. I'm just saying you don't know your genetics, so blaming it on there, you're literally just blaming it on wild stuff when you can control what you can control, which is fucking just being a savage and sending it in the weight room until you break those genetics, until you break that argument in your head. And until you break that argument in your head, it's gonna be something you always keep as your trump card of, I work hard, but genetics. I do this, but. Like we need to get rid of these fucking buts, and you just need to go after it until you absolutely reach a point in which everybody is telling you it's a genetic issue. In the same way, truly great athletes don't have to tell other people they're great. If you're truly limited by your genetics, you don't have to be the one saying that. Other people will tell you that. And I'm not even saying listen to those people. I just think so many times we take that trump card genetics, we hold it in our back pocket as an excuse for not getting after it in training, for our excuse for not push our own genetic barriers. Every single person I know, myself included, can push our genetic barriers way further than we currently have. And there's so many more levels to reach in performance before we get to that trump card. And I think a lot of us pull it way too soon, myself included. So stay out of that trump card. Go be a fucking savage in the weight room. Stop insulting your family name. Stop insulting your bloodline that got you to where you got to. And go push yourself to go achieve something great. Let's go. Let's get this. Come on. Ooh! Woo! Almost lost that motherfucker. Did not grind that or groove that very well. Holy shit. We'll get to our 20 rep max. I'm gonna show a couple of the sets in between, a couple of the accessories we're doing in between. Hit our 20 rep max, then we go sauna. Let's get it. Like I mentioned, a couple of the videos, a big part of this off season is gonna be a lot of rotational stuff. Rotational mobility, especially with that spine. These wide stance, rapid rotations are nice and spicy. A little Zercher hold here. We're rotating side to side, locking that lower body in place here, rotating with that trunk. These feel spicy. Let's get it. Let's go. God, those get you jacked up. The upper plyo variation for today is these foam presses that I was talking about. Not a huge fan of these compared to the other plyometrics push-ups that we've done, but they're kind of nice. If you have weights, these foams are really nice just because you can land on it. It's easier without having to like crush yourself onto the ground. But with the actual just body weight, the whole point was to be a little bit more rapid here, but it kind of takes away that ability to be rapid here. So I'm just gonna push this height, get 5 of these. Let's go. All right, then we finish with a 20 rep drop set here. Again, really love just hitting that low rep stimulus to get a high strength stimulus done, and then backing off, especially in the off season, getting a lot of rep and volume work done in these back off sets here. I'm pushing a 20 rep max here. So this should be a true 20 rep max. If this isn't, we'll add another set. I don't think we'll need to do that. I think I might get botted here. Let's get after it, let's go. Woo! God dang. I think we're gonna do another set there, actually. I lied. Hit another set there, fuck me. Add 5s. And we got one more rant, and I wanna show you a bonus exercise I did this morning with the crew. That's absolute money. And then we're out ski. Let's get it. So the punishment of being strong is you gotta do more sets. So we're gonna have to rip another 20 rep max here, because I promised if it wasn't a true 20 rep max, we were gonna add some weight and get absolutely bodied by this and get those pecs popping. Last little rant I had, I got the question, if I have other priorities right now, how do I work out without getting pissed at working out or like feeling like it's taking away my time? And honestly, this is something that I felt and feel a lot. I wouldn't say lifting is one of my hobbies per se. I'm much more driven by sports and events to go win. And lifting for some reason just doesn't give that competitive juice, right? And I need to have lifting attached to something. And that's what I'd really push you to do if you are feeling like lifting and working out is a waste of time because you have all these other priorities, is you have to find a way for working out to be a benefit and be tied into those bigger goals. And a couple ways that have helped me is have side quest in the weight room in and of itself. So like the snatching and cleaning, picking up something new, even like learning how to do a backflip, learning how to dunk. Like these are all things, these are just side quests that are slightly attached to the weight room, and I have to show up to the weight room and do my workouts that day to get better at, but it's not necessarily just working out to work out, right? I think working out to work out is a very poor motivator for a lot of people. You need to have some sort of side quest. And if your side quest, if you really can't find an athletic side quest, try to find it a way to attach to your business, right? So for me, it's super easy with the videos. Obviously, I'm in the fitness world, so that makes it easy for me to wrap it up. I can make content around things, so I have to show up to work out and make content, and that's actually very powerful for me. But if fitness is not your business, if that's not the pursuit that you're pursuing or the thing that you're talking about, I don't really know what it is from your question. But if it's other business, maybe it's just the fact that you work out so that you look like a CEO that is healthy and it inspires your workers to want to be like you. Maybe you work out because it clears up your mind and you think clearer and you're more productive at work, right? And I think looking at things and just understanding that just because you're not spending all 24 hours on these other goals, realizing if you spend 1 hour, like you take one step back from here, you spend 1 hour here, you're probably gonna get 2 hours of productivity from that 1 hour that you took off because you're more productive, you're happier, you got the endorphins rushing through your system, you feel better about yourself, your mind works a little bit better, you have more energy throughout the day. And I think that's a great way to tie working out into your other side quests as well, into your business side quests, right? So if you can't tie it up directly, tie it up indirectly. But I think trying to have it be two completely separate different entities, especially if you're the type to where lifting doesn't really just get you going by itself, I think that's a really tough mission for a lot of people and not something that I necessarily recommend. If you love lifting, if you're like Will Rattel and you just love lifting and it's like your softball, it's the thing that you're obsessed about, then it's super fucking easy and it's amazing. And I'm not negating that at all. I wish everybody was like that. I wish I was like that more. But if not, find a way to tie it into the thing that you are obsessed about. So like for me, it's softball right now that I'm absolutely obsessed about. That's why lifting gets me fucking excited to go get better at my swing. I can get more powerful in here. If I can look better in here, if I can sprint faster in here, I can jump higher in here. I can hit the ball harder and perform better on the weekends. And that really motivates me to show up. And then you have all the hidden benefits around there where I do feel better about myself. I do look better, I speak better, I think clearer, and you have all the benefits of working out with a motivation factor in there, and I think that's super important. So I think just finding a side quest, finding a thing to tie it into, so it's not just working out for the purpose of working out. I think that's a lot of life, right? Like the reason a lot of people can do super shitty jobs is because they tie that shitty job into providing for their family. And I think you can do the same thing in working out. Obviously not as in a deep of a sense, but you're working out to provide for the business, to provide for yourself. And then the last note there is just making your workouts fun. It helps a ton. If your workouts don't suck and you have something to explore and something to reach for when you work out, you start to hate your workouts a lot less. So I think if you're really dragging ass in the weight room and every day feels like you're pulling teeth, I think you need to either find a different workout plan or a different way to tie the current workout plan that you have into something that means more to you so that you get that energy. And I think the more you fight that, the more of a losing game that you're playing. And you're eventually gonna lose it. You're gonna lose to that mind game that you're playing if you're actually pulling teeth, if you're actually hating working out every single day. There's gonna be days where you work out, even if you're all motivated, even if I have it tied in everything. There's gonna be days where you're dragging ass and you show up, and that's discipline and that's motivation. And those are things you just prove to yourself over and over again, that you are the person that shows up, that you are the person that is disciplined. But I think the less you play the discipline game, the less you play that random motivation game, the better it is for you long term. And you can use that discipline and motivation for more important tasks. Show up for your family, to be motivated for your family, to be motivated at your job, to be motivated at these bigger goals, right? I think we have so much, we have a very limited resource of discipline and motivation. And I think we should spend it on things we actually want to spend it on, and use more of a gamification model to motivate us and energize us for those other things, right? So, all right, less yapping. Let's rip this last set here. 20 reps. Let's go. Let's get a pump on. Oh, come on. Go on. Oof, come on. Come on. Woo! Oh, that was better. I probably could even push 5 more pounds, but we really gotta go. I'm gonna show you this bonus exercise. Then we're gonna get out of here. Feeling pretty good about that day. Snatches need a lot of work, but body's feeling amazing. Let's go. All right, so after that pec popping burner here, I'm gonna show you a little bonus exercise just because I'm the greatest. Truth be told, I thought of these when I was decently buzzing on the gancha at Lifetime. I was just kind of stretching, feeling a position. I was actually gonna do some lat pull downs and then kind of felt this position in one spot and then just kind of held it. So we got a 2-minute hold here, almost like a cable resisted cobra stretch here, or assisted. It's pulling you in. Nice big stretch here, kneeling, and we're just rotating here. You can do the same thing seated. I actually did it seated at Lifetime. It felt like money. And we're just rotating the arms here. Nice and special here. Put a lot of weight on that rack so it doesn't pull you up. And we're just working on that overhead position here. Nice big stretch. This one feels like money. Spend 2 minutes here. Woo! Oh, man, that one is spicy. Get a lot of length through those lats. Feels amazing on those shoulders and elbows, and I really like the fact that you can rotate through in that elbow and shoulder, kind of spice up that elbow a little bit. Got it feeling buttery. That's all I can ask for. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood. Let's go.